is a very hard subject that you, and yes, I mean you are not acclimated to. So, I did a whole career in the military. I've seen plenty of war, right? And I thought by. Sorry, I've got to readjust my camera. The only way to do that is to. It's still garbage. Anyways, you're not ready. And so I thought if I went and served overseas, that I could prevent my loved ones and my family. You know, if I went out and fought those wars myself, I thought very naively that I could prevent my family and my loved ones from war ever touching them. But nowadays, the internet is a thing. And as such, if you decide to, you could see war all day, every day. And depending on where you get your social media sources from, you may only see one war and not two or three or five or seven or eight, if you're naive. And so the purpose of this video is to teach you guys that you're misled. You're misled on so many fronts, it's pathetic. War is war. And I know that's a asinine statement, but war is so much more so much more devastating and toxic and evil than you think it is. And after all that time in the military, what I can tell you is evil begets or begats evil. It's a vicious cycle that continues. It is the cycle of wrath, it is the cycle of hatred, and it needs to stop. But I am not an intelligent enough man to make it stop. I wish I were better. I wish I could be somebody greater. But to sit here as a non-combatant and open your mouth when it comes to war and you've never seen it, you are horridly underqualified. You just are. Your opinion is an opinion, but it doesn't matter because you do not understand. You have no knowledge of war at all. And so it doesn't matter which side of the political aisle you come from. It doesn't matter if you're left or right or independent. I happen to be a right-leaning independent, right? And that's cool. I've earned that right to be who I am. I've earned your right to vote. I've earned my right to vote. I've earned all of our rights to vote. So, I just need you to understand that you do not understand war. You have very little, like the tiniest concept of what it is. So, in prefacing this, there are no victims at all when it comes to war. People pick fights they can't win all the time. It's a natural occurrence that occurred in the playground when we were kids. The reason why there are no longer victims in war is, it's multifold, but check this out. If you continue to let a group or a faction operate in your vicinity and you tolerate it, and you let it occur without, doing something about it, and you harbor them, or let's make it even worse. When combat comes to those people who tend to be evil, and you shelter them or you let them hide amongst you, you are just as evil as they are. Now, that being said, evil is a concept that is shifting, changing, unreal. It's hard to define what is evil. However, if you happen to be a real victim, which we'll showcase here in a second, if you happen to be a real victim and evil lashes out at you, it's okay to defend yourself. I'll leave it at that. Actually, before I go, I got to do a little. There are many people out there that just, they just watch the media. They just tune in to a certain media channel, and then there are other people that are parts of, certain media groups, whether that be social media or whatever, right? We tend to forget what causes things. Like, I'm an idiot. I don't pay attention. I put a glass jar up on a counter as I'm unpacking the rest of the groceries. And, my son runs up and bumps the counter, and then the glass jar falls on my foot, and I get mad at my son, right? We tend to forget the cause of situations. So if we want to, analyze what's going on in the Middle East right now, and what's going on with Israel, Palestine, and Iran, there's a long-standing history of war in that area between all of these factions. Okay, we could dig to the 1980s, which was the last significant one, or we could dig all the way back to the Bible. And there's multiple instances of all of this occurring between the Bible and now, and then up to the 1980s. However, for this current conflict, we all have to talk about the truth, the facts, and what happened, right? So politics aside, it doesn't matter which camp you come from. There's a clear aggressor and there's a clear defender, and that's where we're going to showcase that right here. It's very simple. If we can get into it, let me move this. There we go.
We are getting in tonight new video and survivor testimony giving us a clearer picture of what happened and when in the early minutes of that Hamas invasion, specifically at the site of a music festival where nearly 260 people were killed, according to Israeli first responders. Our Josh.
So what you're going to see here is the start of this conflict. What you're going to see is very ill-equipped, very ill-trained Palestinians and Gaza Strip people attacking innocent, very young Israelites, which is what started this whole conflict in the first place. So, if you feel sorry right now for the Palestinians, you need to understand how this came about, right? That's all I'm going to say for now.
Letterman is laying out what we know about what happened, and we want to warn you, what you're about to see is disturbing.
It is going to be disturbing. What's on the media is very tame. What actually happens in war is much more gruesome than this, and they're only allowed to show certain things. But let's dig in.
It was meant to be a night of free love and spirit, but turned into a morning of chaos and devastation. At the Supernova Music Festival, only about 3 miles from the Israel-Gaza border, young people flocked from around the world to the beauty of the Negev Desert. DJs played through the night and into the early morning.
All right, so let's back that up. Let's get right back to the map. Okay, so here. Now let's go a little bit further back. Yeah, so you see this? What this is the light yellow is Israel. Actually, everything within that border is Israel. Israel happens to be a multicultural nation just like the United States of America. However, everything in the orange is radical Muslims. That's fact. So let's go.
Miles from the Israel-Gaza border, young people flocked from around the world to the beauty of the Negev Desert. DJs played through the night and into the early morning. This video, taken by one of the organizers at 6:28 a.m., shows the sizable crowd still dancing carefree. Then, the celebration became a hunting ground for Hamas. As dawn broke, video taken by a
Oh, so Israelites weren't the aggressors here. Turns out they were attacked first.
festival goer appears to show objects approaching from the sky. They'd later find out they were Hamas paragliders.
Look at this janky bullshit. Look at this.
New video released by Hamas showing their militants training on the paragliders.
You see that? They're training. They're getting ready. They're getting ready to fuck some Jews up. That's their whole purpose. They're just like, it's funny how modern day liberals call everybody who disagrees with them fascist and fucking, like Hitler. This is what Hitler means, killing Jews, right? These are the actual, get out of here with your bullshit.
Before the attack. Within minutes, festival security guards are seen urging people to flee. Video shows hundreds of people abandoning the party as gunshots ring out around them. Terror overwhelming this woman as she runs from the gunfire.
However, I have to preface all of this by saying this is war. This is how war is done. You don't give the enemy knowledge that you're going to attack them. You don't give them pre-warning, right? You don't forewarn them that you're going to attack them. And this is a good preface as we carry on.
In another video, people are seen hiding from attackers in the bushes nearby. Amid the gunfire, a group taking cover and desperate attempts to save lives.
See, those are Palestinians and, Israelites. I think this is mostly just Israelites, but I think there's some people that, those people look pretty dark-skinned. Israelis tend to be pretty light-skinned, or at least that's my understanding, the ones I've intermingled with, right? So I'm pretty sure there's like a Middle Eastern people here getting victimized also.
Lives, tying a tourniquet around a bloodied leg. This dashcam video found by Israeli first responders showing a person lying on the ground being executed at point-blank range. Witnesses described abandoning their cars after being shot at and running. More videos showing crowds of people racing across dusty fields, trying to find safety. But some didn't find it. Instead, taken hostage. 25-year-old Noah Argamani seen on the back of a motorcycle as she's taken presumably to Gaza. Her family now pleading for mercy in media interviews. One witness, who says she escaped by foot before being picked up by a motorcycle, saw people being killed all around her.
All the way people were dying, all the way on the road. Young people. It's a festival for young people. Many people were dying in the road.
About 260 people were killed at the event, according to Zaka, an Israeli emergency response group. Videos taken the next day show the scale of destruction. Cars littering the road, burnt out at the access point to the festival.
That seems like a very innocent act. It's an act of war. This incident is how the current war. So it's been going on back and forth forever. But this is how the current war started. I'm going to take a break and keep playing.
As Israelis assess the human loss and continue to seek those kidnapped or missing.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.
Alright, so that's that, said the cat, right? That's exactly... Let us not kid ourselves. For the modern conflict that went down, that's exactly how it went down, right? So trying to portray it any other way, like Palestinians are victims, or like people of Gaza are victims, is inaccurate. And so for all of you that don't understand war, the reason why war is not... Look, us Americans tried to do war nice in multiple wars, and then other countries like us tried to do nice in multiple wars, and it turns out when you invade a country and you're winning and you ignore the civilians become combatants. They shoot at you, they attack you. So nowadays, modern day wars are just flame sprays. And what I mean by that, case in precedence, is when the United States of America entered World War II. Or World War II. Sorry for the slang there. What I mean by that is we were minding our own fucking business. And the Japanese attacked us, and they attacked us hard. And we didn't respond with, oh, we're going to go in there and we're going to invade you guys and we're going to leave all the civilians alone. Because we learned our lesson in World War I. We learned our lesson in the Civil War. We learned our lesson in the Revolutionary War. We learned our lesson in so many wars. Instead, we put that fucking hammer down hard and we just dropped nukes. Boom! On the two biggest cities. And it put closure to the war so quick, and it was such a good victory. Now, I am not condoning or saying that's the best way to do things. I am just stating that that's the way wars are fought nowadays. Okay? That's how we properly do war. And I say this to preface all the new videos that are coming about that Gazan people are victims. There are no victims in war, guys. There are only winners and there are only losers. There's two sides to every fight. One side's got to win and one side's got to lose. Alright guys, so as we go into this next clip, this is deep into Israel's response. So remember that the Palestinians launched an assault against innocent Israelites, right? And so, you know, maybe the kid you punched doesn't look like the biggest kid on the playground, but maybe he can fucking fight, right? So this is why you don't go just randomly fucking hitting people and assuming everything's gonna go great. Let me get over here and we'll take me down that much.
In northern Gaza, possibilities are outweighed by probabilities. The hope of a ceasefire is gone. Escaping unscathed is unlikely, but another Israeli attack, more death and destruction. For most Palestinians, these have become certainties. A drone above Beit Lahia issues a warning in Arabic. The Israeli army is coming to bomb the area.
See? At least the Israelites are being nice enough to tell the civilians, hey, get out. We're about to bomb this area. And the reason why they're doing that is because there are Israelite enemies known as Hezbollah, the people who attacked them in the area. At least they're being nice enough to do this. They don't even have to do this. Just, yeah, they're being nice. They're not evil.
Shortly afterwards, an airstrike.
And
A man runs
by shortly, they mean several hours. They gave him plenty of time.
to help, only to find members of his own family among the dead.
So those of you saying, why doesn't God answer their prayers? It's very simple. It's because they don't pray to God. You heard the name they were calling. It's not God. Hence why God doesn't come to answer their prayers.
Israel has decimated the healthcare system in Gaza. The UN says every hospital has been affected and not one remains fully functional.
Everything in northern Gaza is being
Good. This is what happens to the schoolyard bully. This is what happens to people who we said in World War II, who wake the sleeping bear. This is what happens when you are a terrorist and you harbor terrorists and you let them live amongst you.
targeted. Schools are being targeted. A lot of people.
That's false. That's false. Schools are not being targeted. Hospitals are not being targeted. The only people being targeted are the fucking literal militants. The problem is that fucking people like this hide behind civilians. They're weak. They can't win wars. They're pathetic. So they hide behind innocent civilians. That's the factual statement here. Let's not joke about it.
Are arrested. Men and women are arrested. Hospitals are being targeted. A genocide is taking place over there.
And for those of you who might say, I don't know what's going on over there, I've been there. I've been to all three of these places. Yep. Listen, Linda. All you Lindas and Karens out there. I know exactly what the fuck's going on over there. It's a religious war that shouldn't have been fought in the first place. It doesn't matter which side you fall on. To fight over religion is stupid. It's a stupid idea. And additionally, all these encroachments are bad. They're bad. But can't we all just get along? Like, can't we all just find common ground? But nobody talks about that, right? But in this specific case, Israel is absolutely justified. They were attacked first. However, how far they take it, that's the thing, right? let's say I'm going down that hot ass slide, that hot metal slide in July, and I've already endured that, and I get down to the bottom and you punch me in the fucking nose. If I break every bone in your body, you absolutely deserve it.
And people are forced to leave northern Gaza.
Surround and starve, threaten and slaughter. Israel's brutal offensive has taken on a familiar rhythm, and Palestinians cannot get away.
Brutal offensive. Let us not forget who started the fight. Like I said, this has been going on for thousands of years. This is just the newest take on the longest war ever. But the Jews, the Israelites, didn't start it. They're finishing it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I tell my sons every day, don't you hit anybody first, but if they hit you, you better fucking finish it. And I mean that because I don't want to raise weak men. I don't want to be that person, and I don't expect you to be that person either. I expect if somebody starts a fight with you, right? You let them start the fight, but you fucking finish it.
Mauled and mutilated day after day. Most able to do little more than film the mass murder of their own people.
See, and that's the other funny thing, the mass murder of their own people. They are genocidal, period. Their whole religion teaches them to be genocidal. Actually, I don't even know what you got. Theocidal? Whatever it calls when somebody doesn't follow your religion, you just kill them all, right? That's what these people are about. So, if you sit here and you sympathize with them, you need to understand two things. One, they have very genocidal and homicidal tendencies, and two, they started it. Now, do they deserve what's going on? Yeah, that's besides the point. Or maybe they don't deserve it. Or maybe they do. That's not the point. The point is, they picked a fight they can't win, and they did it all on their own. It's their fault. So I personally have a unorthodox stance on homosexuality, but it's besides the point. So we're going to start here. We'll go deeper, but if you happen to be, I just want to show you guys what the Gazans and the Palestinians are all about, right? And how extremist they are for all you liberals that don't know.
First of all, I want to thank you for hearing my story. I'm 26 years old. I was born in Gaza Strip. I was growing up in a refugee camp. لما كان عمري 17 سنة حماس أمسكت بي وأنا كنت بعمل الشواذ. حبسوني لمدة 3 أيام 4 أيام. كان تعذيب. حطوني في غرفة مترين ما بقدر أنام ولا أروح حمام فيها. ما في أكل.
So basically, I don't know if you could read the text. You know, he got caught having homosexual sex with his boyfriend, and they imprisoned him in Gaza for several days, and they tortured him. Alright, so I want to be very clear defining here, as I may not be a devout Christian, but I am a Christian. When it comes to Christianity, homosexuality is a sin. Just like smoking marijuana is a sin. Just like drinking alcohol to excess is a sin. Just like cheating on your husband or wife is a sin. But it is not a deadly sin and even deadly sins are forgivable. You can be completely homosexual your whole life as a Christian, right? Even though homosexuality is technically a sin in the Bible, you can do that your whole life and still go to heaven. I know that's a fucking shocker, right? Potty mouth me. I can cuss all I want as long as I don't take the Lord's name in vain. I have nothing that I have to beg forgiveness for cursing, right? There are sins, actually every sin is forgivable. But apparently, in Sharia law, this is not a forgivable sin. And any militant involved with Sharia law can execute you for being a homosexual. Just fact. It's just how they operate. It is what it is.
كانوا يعذبونا أكتر أنواع التعذيب. يعني في نوع من التعذيب اللي يرفعوا رجليا يحطوا عصاية فيهم يضربوا على رجليا. وحصل بعد كم سنة كل مرة كانوا يعتقلوني كانوا يقوموا بتعذيبي بنفس الطريقة.
Abdul can't remember when he...
So anyways, what he was talking about, I know you guys couldn't see all of it, is that they would keep arresting him over and over again because they knew he was gay. In the Gaza Strip. Like, had this dude just fled over to Israel, which is fucking steps away, he'd have been fine. But no. He's got to go all the way to Turkey and Istanbul and... Anyway.
First knew he was gay, but he always remembers living in fear. This is the first time that he's telling his story to the world, and we've changed his name for his safety. He's also asked us not to show his full face. Like most young boys living in the Gaza Strip, Abdul was raised in a strictly religious Islamist household, going to mosque every day with his family. But because Abdul's father was a member of Hamas, Abdul had to be even more careful to hide his truth.
What's life for gay people? It's hard to be gay because I don't feel free on Gaza. There are many people gay on Gaza Strip, and they from Hamas also. If you are gay, you should be hiding. It's so hard. I was so scared for everything, you know, for hating, for kidnapping. I was so afraid. I was afraid Hamas find out I was gay.
To be queer in the Gaza Strip is a crime.
So you think us Christians are evil or what would you call it? Demeaning or exclusionary. We are nothing like these people. Like I just said, and you may not hear that from other Christians, but in the same way that it is okay to be a drug addict, it is okay to be gay. And what I mean by that is sins are sins. Doesn't matter what sins. And even if you're not religious, right? That's where this gets a little unhinged. It doesn't matter, right? So if you happen to be from a religious camp, I have people that go to church with me who are gay. And in most religious societies here in America, that's not okay. You can't attend, or they'll just bully you, and that's not what it means to be Christian. And I know a lot of gay or LGBTQ people feel like they're shunned by the church, but then it's in the same way that drug addicts feel like they're shunned by the church, or homeless people feel like they're shunned by the church. It's not a factuality. It's not actual truth. But Christianity is not this evil. However, I understand how Christianity could be displayed as this evil. And there could be counter arguments and displays that kind of prove it And so that's what's meant by extremism. That's exactly what's meant by extremism. And that's hard to digest. It takes a long time to digest a subject like that. But, you know, if you happen to be female, or you happen to be a male homosexual, or God forbid, you happen to be a female homosexual, and you happen to be in an Islamic controlled area, you're fucked. You are going to be persecuted and beat upon and beat down and misused and used up till there's nothing left. It's just fact. And so for those of you who sit around and defend these people as if, and see, that's the funny thing, it's the liberals here in America that defend these people. And that's how the left gets you. They make you feel sorry for the people who are like anti what you are. The Islamic people absolutely will behead a gay person. They will kill them on the spot. They will and it doesn't matter if you're male or female. They will also absolutely kill you if you don't get in line and do exactly what they say. They are a monarchy. It's a loose monarchy. It's more based on tribes, right? They are everything that liberals hate. However, your liberal gods here in America who actually hate you, they don't want you to know this. They'll never show you this. Alright, let's tolerate it some more. Let's all be tolerant. Fuck.
And members of the LGBTQ community are constantly at risk. Hamas, the Islamic terror organization that's ruled Gaza since 2007, prohibits homosexual relations and prowls the streets for anyone breaking the law. And those who are caught can face death. That's why when Abdul was seen with his boyfriend, he was almost immediately reported.
Other people saw me with my boyfriend and they told Hamas.
Over the course of 5 years, Abdul says Hamas would kidnap him off of the streets, torture him, and then release him again. At the age of 22, they let him go for the last time.
They make me swearing on oath on the Quran that I don't do that again.
That you won't be gay again?
Yes.
But even though Abdul was free, he had nowhere to go.
Oh, us American Christians are so bad. We capture American gays and we torture them over and over for several years. Over and over and over again. And we beat them and we make them swear on the Bible. None of that shit happens here in the U.S. Us Christians are not that bad. And, you know, to be fair, Christians and Jews are not the same thing. They're different. Only slightly, but they're different, right? You need to understand what and who these people are.
Oh. For 2 years, Abdul lived on the streets until he managed to scrape together enough money to escape into Egypt and then make his way to Turkey.
I paid $1,500 to get out of the Gaza Strip and enter Egypt.
Even though Abdul now lives thousands of miles away from Gaza, today he lives in constant fear that somebody will identify him and that he'll be sent back into the clutches of Hamas.
I miss my family in Gaza, but I can't go back.
Why can't you go back?
Because I'm scared.
Abdul's story, sadly, isn't unique. The Gaza Strip and the West Bank are listed among the most dangerous places in the world for LGBTQ people. And apart from the physical danger of potentially being exposed, there are devastating social consequences. A recent poll conducted by the Arab Barometer Research Network found that only 5% of Palestinians in the West Bank accept same-sex relations. There are no statistics on the matter in the Gaza Strip because of how taboo of a subject homosexuality is. But it's not only gay people who face abuse by Palestinian leadership. Just last month, Human Rights Watch released a report alleging that Palestinian authorities in the West Bank and the Gaza Strip systematically torture critics in detention to punish and intimidate them. The report describes violent abuses of power by Palestinian forces, just like what Abdul says he endured at the hands of Hamas.
Violating human rights by Hamas and even the PA in Ramallah is becoming clear.
So if you happen to be left-leaning, and that's, I still don't understand this. I don't understand why gay people, homosexuals, whatever, have to be left-leaning. You don't. Right? It's not a necessity. There are other people that have your rights and your earnest interest within their heart, and they care about it, right? It's so bad. Like, that's what I'm saying. You guys don't know. You haven't been there. I've been there. I've been all over the Middle East. You don't fucking know. You have no idea what these people will do to you if you follow liberal ideology. So here in the US, you hate, which is the liberal tendency, you hate people who are religious, but why don't you go and try religion around the rest of the world? Why don't you try that for a minute? You're gonna be horrified. Absolutely horrified. You have no fucking idea what's awaiting you. Go on ahead. Just you fuck around and find out.